Hey guys, I want to talk to you about a topic that can sometimes be a little uncomfortable. That's situations where sexually inappropriate behavior occurs. Now, I realize that this can really be an uncomfortable time for you and perhaps your loved one who's living with dementia. And I at times think the term sexually inappropriate behavior, maybe that's not the best way to describe it, because more than likely, your loved one with dementia doesn't know that their words or actions are inappropriate in the set of circumstances. But again, that doesn't make it any less awkward or uncomfortable for those involved. So I want to provide some tips on how you can react to those situations, but also some tips on how to be proactive to hopefully prevent those situations from occurring. So, in situations where you need to react to a sexually inappropriate behavior or sexual expression, first, remain calm. It's important to ensure that you're not getting too worked up, but that you respond with a firm response. So you could say something to the effect of, "No, I don't like that," or "No, don't say that," or "No, that is not right." When you do that, it can also be helpful to involve a nonverbal action, such as putting your hand up. "No, please do not do that." At times, people living with dementia need a verbal and nonverbal cue, so that can help to reinforce your statement. But there's a fine line between a firm response and scolding or shaming, which we certainly do not want to scold or shame the individual, because again, they may not know that their words and actions in that circumstance are inappropriate. We also want to ensure we set clear boundaries. So when you do have a situation that occurs, be sure that you act immediately and act consistently if this situation has happened more than once. Drawing those clear boundaries can really help to establish that situation or that word or action is not appropriate in the circumstances. You also want to give that person space and privacy, especially during those activities that are a little more intimate, like bathing, grooming, and dressing. And you don't want to jump to conclusions because there might be an underlying medical issue or challenge that the person is having. So for instance, if they're kind of scratching around their private areas, it may be that they have a UTI, a urinary tract infection, or maybe there is a rash that they're experiencing, or even just uncomfortable clothing. I know when I'm uncomfortable in my clothing, an itchy sweater, that can be really just uncomfortable. So you might want to look into those types of things before, again, you jump to any conclusions. Now for some proactive tips. You want to be sure that you're not sending mixed signals, anything that could be misinterpreted. So depending on, your relationship to your loved one, terms of endearment like honey or sweetie, those might be misinterpreted. Same as hugs and kisses. That might be a great way for us to show affection, but there are other non-sexual forms of intimacy that we can provide our loved ones on a regular basis that can hopefully help to curb any sexually inappropriate behaviors. So those non-sexual forms of intimacy are things like hand-holding or rubbing that person's back, giving them a little shoulder massage or a scalp massage. Ooh, I love when somebody gives me a little scalp massage. So that can be a way that you show your loved one that you are connected to them, that you're there to support them, and that you love them. Something else you might want to consider is if your loved one is taking off their clothes in public or in inappropriate situations, that you ensure that their clothing is comfortable, that they're not getting too hot and wanting to take off their clothes. You might also opt for a little more challenging clothing to remove during outings, like overalls, or make sure that there's a belt with their jeans. Just a little more challenging to take off. So that might be a way you can prevent those types of inappropriate behaviors. You might also, during those more intimate activities like bathing, grooming, those types of things, to provide extra space and extra privacy. I have a whole tips video on privacy during bathing, so I hope you check that out. And then finally, try redirecting. I offer that tip in a lot of my videos just because it works in so many situations. So if you can tell that there might be an inappropriate situation that occurs, redirect the individual. That helps a lot of the time. And you might want to journal and keep track of when these situations are occurring and kind of the circumstances around the situation so that you can maybe try some new things, new tactics, or ways to approach. For example, if a female is being bathed by a male or vice versa, and there's some sexually inappropriate behaviors happening, try someone bathing of the same gender. That might be a good way to see if that sexually inappropriate behavior dissolves in those situations. So I know again that these can be challenging situations when your loved one says something or does something that is not appropriate in the time. But do remember, we all as humans have a longing for connection, for intimacy, companionship. So your loved one might be trying to show you that they are longing for that. And those are opportunities for you to provide those other ways of comfort and reinforcement, those shoulder rubs, hand holding, and that can be a way that you can hopefully provide for their need of love and intimacy. So I know that these types of situations can be uncomfortable and embarrassing, but hopefully these tips can help you address these situations and be proactive. And I'm sure that you have tips and advice that you can share, so I hope you will comment. And thanks so much for watching.